We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So I think that we need to set up a time. Let's interview these individuals. Who's actually gonna be on the panel?
I just put the 3 commissioners.
The commissioners? Okay, because we can't go into your office and, I mean, we
Put the
you're
commissioners.
not picking who's running on the other
I'd
side of
put-
this table, I guess.
I'd put just 3 commissioners and Jason
Okay,
Clark.
we'll do that. And like I say, let's set it up as soon as possible. And then,
You might consider Brandy to be on that hiring panel, possibly.
Can you be in there without being an ethical issue?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
I can check with Carrie Hong to make sure.
Yeah, I
but-
wanted to check with Carrie. and make
Yeah,
sure.
but because she tracks and, I mean, it's just a thought that she has more experience in the world of conflict attorneys than any of us. We can hire the person that we feel best fits the position, but as far as some of the tougher questions, Brandy will be able to know if the answers are in line better than we will. So I would say that might be a possibility.
and I believe that we're looking at 2 employees plus 2 staff members. So we'll have to look at the financial end of it, and
And you want the 17.6?
That's, I think, where we go right now in this budgetary cycle. And then next year, we will need to readdress how that's going to, when we actually have a full definition of
So
this.
rough math is 102,000, which would leave 50,000, not counting all your overflow bills. You're probably gonna have, I don't know if you have desks, software,
We'll have to go start.
paper, all that.
Shanda and I
random.
talked about that the other day. I know we have to have phones. All the phones were taken over to,
Adam might have some computers, or he
Yep.
might have money that he could buy some of that stuff to help.
well, these 2 will work on
Budget.
that end of it. And bring that information before us that we need to do, but let's get these interviews as quick as possible. And,
I was thinking maybe we could post for the admin assistant now.
yep,
Yep. I'll start getting those going.
I think so. Okay. And by that time, maybe we'll have somebody here, and then these individuals would be able to be on the panel to hire their admins.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that would be the ideal thing.
And I'll firm up the math.
What's that?
I'll do a little bit better thorough job on the math
Okay.
before.
No, you're fine. You're fine. That gives us,
So that they'll have it.
yep.
Well, I'll tell you, I feel better right now than I felt after we've ended any of the other meetings we've had talking about
And
this.
again, we've been doing this since October, so it's not like it's been this has weighed quite heavily on a lot of us because this is something that we can't just let this go. This is something that,
I'll contact both of the interested parties. I'll make sure that the one that hasn't completed the application as of yet does that prior to, and then set up just as soon as, I'll get with Jason and make sure their calendar, and then once Brandy checks with Carrie, we'll make sure to get that set up and
Okay.
for early next week, hopefully.
okay,
Okay.
we're good with that.
All right.
Bills, sorry, can I do
What?
the billing question?
Let's,
And the billing, honestly, I think we work with you and Christie, and let's kind of get our form.
let's figure it out first, how we want to do it. Let's,
And then if there's questions, there are a few retired judges that we could kind of have a retainer, that if we have questions, we go talk to them or invite them to look at them. I think that was a good idea.
That might be a possibility.
they can't be on any cases if they're still in senior status,
Yeah,
though.
if they're senior status, if they're still working for the courts, the judiciary, I don't think.
I think there's
Yeah.
1 or 2, though, that might be out of senior status now, that might be.
Might be. I mean, honestly, from my perspective, I would want someone that's currently a practitioner because they understand what's
Being billed currently.
what's being billed and what's reasonable or not. I mean,
Okay.
you give me an attorney's
Perspective.
billing, I'm not sure I'm gonna look at it. And I look at attorney's fees all the time, and there are questions from time to time, but, and I guess that's true. I mean, I guess you could see if there was a judge that had no ties to the judiciary, is completely retired, and see if they were willing to look at those. I mean, we do that primarily on civil cases.
Well, honestly, if we hire these two individuals, they'll be within our own system, and we could have a conversation with them.
Could they look at the billing and take off any information that might, I mean, could you take the defendant's name off with that? And then you could just look at the activity that they're doing to see if it seems reasonable, or
You're
do you
just gonna
need that
redact it?
information?
Well,
Because maybe that would take away the conflict of reviewing the invoice. Just a thought.
I guess I'm a little confused on what you want to do and who you're doing. You're doing this with hourly attorneys?
Well, they would be our contract attorney,
Conflict
hourly,
attorneys that are-
or whoever is, we're gonna have to have them all submit bills.
They would have to submit monthly bills with regard to each case that they have and what they're
Yes.
finding. They'd have
See-
to submit timesheets.
See, and I don't-
Basically,
What
yes.
he's doing right now, he's submitting the bill with all of his.
see, and I don't understand the issue with it of, okay, yeah, you have a case with a case number assigned to it and even a name assigned to it. I don't see why there would be any kind of conflict internal, because all you're looking at is, we're being billed for 40 hours, and well, how did you break out your 40 hours? That's all you're looking at, to see if 7 hours on Zoom, well, that's not right. But, I mean, if it's looking customary and standard, I mean, it's going to pass the smell test is what you're looking at. Does it look obvious? And especially if they're signing an affidavit saying, hey, this is true and correct. I don't see, you're not going to have to do a deep dive into it, but they have to account for, if you bill us for 40 hours, you got to break it out. What did you allocate those 40 hours to? That's all you're doing. You're not getting in and talking specifics of cases. You're not doing anything that way. It's just simply, I did 2 hours of research for this case. I had this case, which I did 4 hours of research for. I did this case where I was in court. This one I went out to the jail and met with my client. This one's, I think that's really about the level that we need of accountability, to show that, yes, this case number was assigned, yes, you did this, yes, you did that, that's what you're getting billed for. I don't think you need to get in any further than that, and if it doesn't make sense, the hours don't add up, you know.
So my question today was in the description that they're giving, like one attorney is more specific about document reviewed notice of hearing and order squashing, and recalling warrant and calendar date is what they said they did on this day. Then they have a time, they have a case number assigned to it, right, and then an amount attached to that. And then another attorney, literally the description is PTC, which I think is pre-trial. Excellent.
So then this is the easiest way to solve that, is the government loves to do this, especially the Department of Defense is the best. They make a form and they say, hey, don't use acronyms. It's always funny, the organizations use acronyms the most. Don't use acronyms.
Okay.
Must have explained definition, fill it out. You could even circle the block, or you could make a billing code of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, research, B, this, D, that. You can code it however you want it. Whatever you explain to them, this is the task of how we want you to fill this out, then it becomes a lot easier. Then you can actually, you could Excel spreadsheet it, and you could actually see exactly how long it's taking for every, I mean, you could actually do a deep dive then on your data. That would actually probably be the easiest, just like when you're reporting on a campaign finance report, all of those definitions, and you just put the code number in.
Yeah.
That's it. Because then there's no writing or trying to, but that gives you your time of, hey, we're doing this action, which none of us are going to know what it is except the legal people.
Who could help us create that? 'Cause
Oh, I think we got some lawyers that could probably help us, give us some understanding of what tasks. You could probably tell us exactly what all those acronyms and stuff mean.
Right.
I mean, because that's what we're talking about, is we're just going to standardize this whole thing and make, they have to fill this out how we want it, not how they want it. Right?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll get with
And then
Brandy
just do
and see
which
about a
ones
list
accept
of general tasks,
That's it.
With a paragraph, write it.
That's it.
right? And then they'll be able to say, right, this case number B, X number of time, right? This case
Yep.
number B, X number of time.
Yep. Perfect.
Well, this is gonna be new for us. Hopefully it isn't new to them, and maybe we'll get some better ideas from some of them that we hire.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your next part, Shanda?
Yes, sir. Procurement update. Somewhere, there we go. So sorry. A couple of them for the commissioners that I wanted to point out. Some of them we already reviewed. The the conflict attorney contract, right, was posted last Friday on Idaho State Bar and our website. The Event Center fireworks was posted last week as well. We did review the concerns that legal had, and we do want to, as a lot of things with procurement, we want to continue to make it better and different. Under the legal's advisement, we want to attach contracts to all bid documents. I think that is a fantastic.
If anybody's out there, they can come in.
Oh, yeah, we're in open meeting now.
I think that's a fantastic place to head, and we'll just gather more and more of those contracts up and attach them so those individuals that are bidding know exactly as we go into that next step, right? There's not time elapse or anything like that. You knew before you bid what we were going to require in the contract. So that's definitely a direction that we are going to head. Questions on that certain bid are due today, and we emailed 4 companies directly and posted it on our website as well. The conflict attorney pool is another one, again, for those overflows that we need. And that one's going to be a little different in the fact that we're going to leave it open, and it'll be open all year long for attorneys as they would like to participate in that pool. They'll be able to come in, right, and they'll just get put in that round robin. So that's going to be a continual one that I wanted to put on here to let you know, but eventually it'll just drop off but just be a continual thing for us that we'll always have open for that. Road and Bridge, we posted a road paint application. We did purchase the paint, but we do need somebody to apply it for us, and those bids are due on Monday, and that recommendation will come before the board next week. For the HVAC project that was due on Monday, those bids had been reviewed, and a recommendation will come before the board on Tuesday, as will one for the Historical Museum as well. The architectural services for the detention center roof, we met out with Levi, and Booth Architecture won that award yesterday out on the jail roof, which was interesting in the hail and the snow that we had. But it worked just the same, and we've got a contract that was submitted to legal yesterday for a review to make sure. And once that is fine, it'll go to Booth Contractors for review and back before the board, I'm hoping next week, so we can get that project going just as quick as we can. That is all I have for the board.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Christie?
I have for the board a couple of items we can do. How about we do the grant one first, because that one will be faster.
Okay.
So this is the grant award for the ambulance that you have already approved. This is just an extension because that ambulance will not be delivered until about December.
Yeah.
So Department of Health and Welfare extended the term on the grant to accommodate that.
Okay. So we just need a signature for, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve and sign the extension for sub-grant for the ambulances presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
So if I can get that, I will give it to Michelle. She'll make sure Krista gets a copy. The next item is our budget letter that we normally send out with the budget, which will be
Thank
going
you.
out on Monday. And I apologize for not sending this to you, sir.
You're fine.
You can't see the highlighted, but you can kind of see the highlighted section. Basically, I just went through, the first paragraph goes through and references the dates. And so I updated those per the budget calendar. And then the second part talks about traditionally where we just tell the departments what to focus on. So last year, we just said the commissioners are determined to focus on cost of living increases for employees. This can be achieved if departments basically reduce their operating budget or stay equal to the 21 budget. If you know employees will be retiring, make a note on that so that we can budget for the replacement of staff. Differentiate capital and one-time needs from regular operating. Talks about providing revenue sheets so that they can provide input on revenue projections, and then if they have any help to let us know. This year, I didn't know what you wanted to put in that section. We've talked about having salaries as a priority again, but I don't know where we're at with those.
I think that our discussion before was actually, we know what's going to be set. You know, that's what we gotta talk about. Salaries, we're gonna kinda set them
Right.
again.
Right.
I mean, that's the way I looked at it. And then the utilities and stuff like that, that's a set fee, and then from there on, it's a zero-based budget, basically, that they need they'll come and justify
Yep.
what they're doing. I
All
mean, wasn't that
expense,
the
yep.
gist of,
So pretty much just tell them that, because we're gonna tell them this is attached, but basically just say, so follow your budget prep sheet, or whatever we decide to call it, fill this out, make sure to differentiate your salaries if you have new employees or retirements, and then also on our operating budget, set it at
Yep.
0, unless it's a cost that you can't,
Yeah.
unless it's a mandated cost.
If there's a request for an employee, a new employee, or for a position to go away, they need to make sure that that's highlighted as well, because I know there's some departments that we're looking at merging or changing some of
Okay.
those. I know there's always going to be departments that are going to ask for new employees, and they should. I mean, it's just whether we can determine what the payload is on that.
Okay.
but that's, to me, that still goes back to from where you're at right now, your zero-based
Yes,
budget.
yes.
You gotta come in and justify everything that you're
What are we
talking about
doing?
in
Yep.
employees and wages.
Okay.
So unless mandated, start at 0 and tell us what you added. Okay.
Yeah, they talked to me, some of them, about restructuring, you know, and they may want to mention that'd be
Yeah.
how that fits in.
Other than that, I'm good with it.
Okay. If restructure, address change. Okay. Okay, and then are you good with this just coming from Jason like you did last year?
Yep.
Okay. So I will get this revised. Would you like a once over, or do you just trust me to put something together, Jason approve it, and then we'll get it kicked out?
Honestly, I'd like to see it.
Kick it down.
I mean, just because it's gonna go out and we're gonna be questioned about it, so I just.
Yeah.
Send us a copy of it.
Yeah,
Okay, I will,
I think our relationship's good enough that we can.
yeah, so we'll work on it a little bit, and then we'll quick send you,
I can get a draft
An
done
email?
tonight. Hopefully by, depending on what time we get done here.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can have it done by like 1, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
and if you have any changes, let me know.
Yeah.
Send it to everybody and then,
That always gives us the time to once over it, make sure we didn't forget something,
okay.
or there's something that, yeah. And then we'll also take I think we already have all the dates already in our calendar, but then that also gives us a chance to make sure in our dates before the letter goes out that we're clear on the dates that
You
we
should
don't
have
have
a
any.
copy of the budget calendar.
I think we've already uploaded it into our calendars, but that gives Christie a chance to sit down and go through all the dates and make sure that, oh, yeah, we scheduled them to be out of town, or, we don't have that.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I will get with Braden. The only other thing I might add into that letter is when we're going to meet with departments. So I'll get with Braden and see when we're going to do that and just add a line about that. That work?
Yep,
Okay.
thank you. Emma?
We're rolling.
Emma Ianco, Public Information Officer. I am here today to talk about the possibility of regulating the use of the county seal. So I worked with Alan Baum, and he did some research into what we could legally do. Alan, do you want to explain the situation with the copyright and the seal?
Yeah, I'll do that. There's not a mechanism to copyright the county seal, and that's dictated by federal law, but we wouldn't be able to do that. And so, really what we did was look at what other counties and organizations have done. It's already illegal to fraudulently use the county seal. That is a felony offense. Some counties, even within the state of Idaho, have made it a misdemeanor to use it in a non-fraudulent manner. I don't know if that's something we want to do, but that would require an ordinance change, obviously, as well. I'm not necessarily advocating one way the other on that, but that would be, and certainly within the county, as far as county employees, policies and whatnot could be used as far as how county employees can use it, but my understanding is there may be a concern of non-county employees using the seal, and our policy certainly would reach out to them, so.
I think, so we've already adopted it under 31-821. So we actually adopted it about 6 months after it was created, this one. And so that's there. And so I think that my personal recommendation then, after reading through this and what you guys found, is I would actually go ahead and pass an ordinance that you're not allowed to use it. Because, I mean, this is the official seal of the county. And when that shows up, people need to know that this is not, I mean, well, it's not fraudulent. We're using it to inform people. I saw a thing on Facebook the other night where it's Bannock County will pay Idaho Power users to do that. And they had a copy of our seal.
I saw that.
And that's the whole thing, is when you see the seal, that's meaning that this is an official document. This is something that carries the weight of your office or our office or the sheriff's office or whoever's using that piece of paper.
I gotta ask what department was replacing windows?
Yeah.
Because Bannock County's replacing windows.
Yes, because you see this stuff going out, and this is especially if they use the seal, that's what you're not supposed to do. And so I would actually ask them that we do something similar to Latah then, and without official permission to use the seal for something, it's a misdemeanor. Because that's how you guard that people know that when you get a letter in the mail, that's actually the county sending you something, that's our official, hey, you need to show up to jury duty, or you need to go, I mean, think about all the things that we're sending letters out to that seal is on, and that's what that's for. So.
Somebody wears it on his jacket.
Yeah, both of you got it on your jacket, man.
3 of them.
4 of them.
Y'all are everywhere.
Well, but it is. I mean, it's on our name tags. It's on our stuff, and it carries the weight of the county, and it's supposed to.
I would agree. Let's write up an ordinance.
So let's go through, and I'm good with that.
Alan, I will not say we, Alan took Latah counties as an example and adjusted it. Do you want me to read it aloud? I don't know if we...
Email it to us so we can go through and sit down and go through it, and if...
Is that everything that's here at the bottom, or is there more to it?
Yeah, that's...
So it's on it's in the agenda anyway.
I read through this, and so, yeah, let's have Jeff read through it too, because he's not here, and it's an ordinance, and let's put it on. Mr. Chairman, I'd recommend putting it on for Tuesday. And if everybody's good with it, then we'll get it published, because it has to go for 3 times in the newspaper, 3 consecutive weeks, or 2 weeks, something like that, for an ordinance change. And then we'll put that in and we'll go from there. We publish it and then we approve it?
Have your hearing and once it's published.
Okay. So.
I'll work with Christy and be back here Tuesday.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Annie? Good morning.
Annie Hughes, Bannock County Event Center.
My name is Dane Buck.
All
Alright, so my name is Dane Buck. I'm with the Student Activities Board at Idaho State, and so I'm the entertainment director, and I plan all the on-campus and off-campus events for Idaho State University students. I'm here today to ask permission to use part of the Portneuf Wellness Complex, specifically the pond, for an event that we're doing. So this is our end-of-year bash for all the students. It's going to be this Friday, April 22nd, weather permitting. This week's been throwing us some curveballs. But what we're looking to do is we're going to bring a DJ, portable campfires from our Outdoor Activities Center, as well as floating lanterns, but like the water floating lanterns, and do kind of like an end-of-the-year celebration.
Not the paper ones?
Not the paper ones. So
that end up in the bottom of the...
Right, not those.
Okay, thank you.
So these are ones that I've gotten approved through Mark Brood, the fire chief for that area.
North Bannock County.
North Bannock County. They float on the water, they don't sink. And I'll be collecting those right after the event's over. So basically, 7 o'clock, students will show up It's free for students, it's $3 for faculty, and it's $5 if a public member wants to come and do this event. At 8:30 or whenever dusk hits, we'll launch those lanterns. They'll sit in the water for maybe 20 minutes. Like you said, they're not paper, they're not going to sink to the bottom. They just rest on top of the water for the 20 minutes that students are there. After students leave, me and some of the board members will be cleaning up all the lanterns using kayaks and fishing nets. As far as what we're going to be doing there, like I said, there's going to be a DJ. We're having Kat bring in one of the generators. It's going to be grounded by the commissioner.
Corey Taverdi will take care of that part.
And then, a question that I had is, students will be there. I guess this is a question for you guys. Do we need to reserve the volleyball nets if we're not explicitly saying that volleyball nets are for ISU students, or if they by chance use them while we're at this event? Is that okay? Because right now we're just reserving pavilions and that space to use the event center. Are you guys okay if students wander over and play on those volleyball nets as well as the rest of this event?
Well, it's like the pond, it's like the volleyball nets and everything else. It's open to the public.
Cool.
And if you're charging, what are you charging for?
Just lantern.
Because the people are able to come on that facility and do what they want.
Yeah.
So that's one question. And the other two is you've crossed out here anything that has to do with insurance.
Do you know why the president of ISU did that? So Lowell Richards, he's the associate vice president. He's the one that crossed those out. And I don't know if Dan saw that.
There needs to be a,
Didn't see
There's
that.
no certificate of insurance, and then V, indemnification of the county.
Yeah.
It's crossed out. No,
yeah, no.
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 So,
We know who your attorney is. He used to work for us. So,
yes.
Brian, could we reach out on that and find out why they're doing that? Because,
Did you see that?
yeah, they've crossed every, yeah.
So we
I don't know
use
if
this-
Tramner did it or not.
I don't know about this.
You're okay.
We did a contract like this in the past, and they used one in the past that involved this.
No, you're good. You're good. This is just, we'll just let the legal people deal with it.
All right, thanks. Sorry about that.
It's,
Yeah, because if it's with ISU, then we have the same, like, we're self-insured, so.
Well,
We're both, but I can call.
all I can tell you is that I know an individual senior that wanted to do this same type of lantern floating, and they were told that their parents were liable for all damages if any lanterns caused anything went on, that their parents were liable. And if we're crossing out everything that
Yeah.
says that you're liable, no, it's not gonna happen.
the university needs to be, if the university rents, it's just like when if we rent out the amphitheater for a concert,
And somebody defaces it or something like that.
it's that concert venue
Sure.
that's, because while you're renting or leasing or borrowing that piece of equipment or property for that amount of time, and you're responsible for it all, and you're responsible to turn it back to us as it is. And if something catches something on fire, or somebody falls in the lake and drowns at your event, you're getting sued first before we get sued.
Makes
And that's
sense.
just,
Makes sense
that's
to
just
me.
how that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Legals.
and that's fine, they'll figure it out. Mr. Chairman, I'd say too, we have done it in the past, it's been a couple years since we did it, but we've had some people that have actually reserved the lake, and they just closed the park at that bottom part, and there's just some, hey, there's an event there, and you can actually do that, but that would be the responsibility of you guys to put signs up and close it, that's not on staff. We have done it that way in the past, we can reserve the volleyball courts. This is something that, because it is an ISU event, it is, I'm okay with looking at doing stuff like that. But if people want to come fish off the dock while you guys are doing it,
Can't stop that, and I understand that.
I'm not gonna.
And that's my concern. I mean,
As far as volleyball courts, beach, the water area, if people
Yeah.
are swimming, they can swim. We can't stop that. We can't stop them from fishing, can't stop them from playing volleyball. I understand that. We just like the permission.
Well, you
to do
can actually rent out the volleyball courts to where the volleyball courts are held to ISU. You could actually do that. That's something that you can specifically say that during that time, it's just like the soccer fields, that when we rent them out, if you want them specifically, but it needs to be in the contract, we need to have that identified. I'm okay with that, if that's because it's the point of, you're gonna have a party and, hey, we're gonna play volleyball, It might be playing on ice, but that's,
So I guess my thought process was I don't know if kids will be playing on volleyball because I don't know what weather will be like, and so maybe just budget wise, we weren't going to reserve the volleyball courts because I just don't know if kids will be playing, and so
Well,
my understanding was if
on the application, it says volleyball courts.
Yeah.
did I have volleyball? Okay, then I guess
I mean, it
volleyball
has it,
courts.
but it's not charged.
Yeah.
Right.
And so,
We're being polite here, so just.
Thank you for being polite.
but I'll just tell you right now, the way things look, I won't sign this
Sure.
until legal's gone over it, both sides.
Okay.
Because it's just a plain no to me on all of it.
You can't have the county bear the brunt of all liability. We
That makes sense
don't
to
do
me.
that for anybody. So,
But if you really want the volleyball courts, they need to be part of the contract.
Okay, we can do that.
If, and you can't close off the beach.
yeah.
Unless we ended up making you pay for it, and we don't have a fee for that, so it'd be a different contract.
No problem.
And the public interest is still there for me, but like I say, until those other things are taken care of.
If we can get them addressed, Mr. Chairman, my recommendation would be is just bring this back on Tuesday. Because it would be
I need to be back here on Tuesday.
You don't have to be back here. But if we have it come back on Tuesday with those questions answered,
And he can represent you in that capacity, and if you're paying.
So if I'm understanding, as long as volleyball courts are like reserved and paid for, and liability obviously doesn't fall on you guys, we're good.
yeah. And like we said, we know who your attorney is. He used to work for us. So
I'm glad you do. 'cause
these guys will
Never met the guy.
these guys will reach out and we'll have a conversation. So
Okay.
And you didn't fill out the paperwork, so you didn't know
Actually,
either.
it's good thing I actually filled it out the first time, and I got told that was a really bad no. So, so I'm here this week and not last week because, yeah. Anyways,
All right,
Lesson learned.
lessons learned.
you're good. You're good.
Thank you.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Touch with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Annie.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go talk to my legal guy.
Funny. That's funny. Talk to my legal guy. We know you're a legal guy.
So he's the one that wanted to do the polar plunge last year. Do you guys remember?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And then he found out he couldn't do it. ISU didn't support it. That's why they ended up not doing it.
When I read through that and saw there's cross.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
No thanks.
I know, I was like, why did they cross all that out? Okay, so the next item is the Swank request form. So Scott just had me bring this because he said we needed to bring it in front of you guys before you can sign off on it for movie in the park. So last year, it was $525 per movie to show at the event center, and that was for 200 to 500 people, which we did not ever. We might have had 200 people once. So this year we're going to do under 200 people. So it's going to be about $360 a movie. It will go down in expense. And we're going to do them on Saturday nights instead of Wednesday nights, hoping that we can bring in more people. Because I explained to Scott, I'm like, during the week, we can't start it till 10, and people have jobs and kids, and there just wasn't a lot of interest. And we have more advertising going out. Holly's doing all these Facebook, so we can get it out there so that more people will see that we're doing it. And I feel like we'll get more people on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So are you guys okay with us going forward with this?
Yeah, I'd like to, I mean, we kind of started. Let's see if we can improve.
We had a couple good
Well,
nights
there
there.
are a lot of people, so I've talked to a lot of people about this, and last year, a lot of people didn't even really find out about it, that it was happening until we were almost done.
Yep.
So I feel like we have to keep moving
Gotta
forward.
get
It can
it.
be a great thing.
And we got to get it out there.
Yeah.
Well, and there was one of them that we had out there fairly well that I went to with my kids, and that was one that we actually had a lot of people at. And the weather was good.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, that looking at the dates, it's in May, and right now Idaho's telling us we're in January,
Yeah.
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 Yes.
so.
Well, and last year we went
That's
through
okay.
October,
Yeah.
and we're going to be done in September.
Yeah.
Because it gets too cold and people.
Oh, you got to play
start
hocus
walking.
pocus for Halloween.
I
At the,
So last year it was so cold on Halloween, we just don't know if we.
2 years ago, I was there.
Yeah.
There's
For
5 of us in the deal, and it was cold,
Oh,
terrible
That's
cold.
funny.
Cold.
No, But that's the whole thing is if we can do that.
Sounds like a wonderful idea.
Let everybody know on Saturdays. Be mindful of the weather.
Yes.
But yeah, if we can get it out there of what we're doing,
We're posting it and posting it and posting it. on
I think
all
you'll
the-
get a lot of the main thing too is what happens, you get a lot of kids that come down there, a lot of high school kids, a lot of,
So my only deal is the city of Chubbuck's doing the exact same thing.
On Fridays.
On Fridays, more on Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
I want to cooperate. We don't want to try to pull from each
So
other
there
as
is
much.
one, and I was gonna hand you guys this. We ended up having to move June, I think it's June 25th, is that the date? To the 24th,
Yeah.
because we are going to now have a concert on that day, so we moved it to, there will be one Friday.
Okay.
And I'll give this to Christie so she can add it, the correct dates, if that's okay, or do you guys
Yep.
want it right now?
No, that'd be fine, that'd be fine.
But other than that, we'll be on Saturdays, because I feel like we'll have more of a turnout.
I agree.
I would move Jungle Cruise and switch it to Luca, because Jungle Cruise would probably get a lot more people, especially in June.
You want me to swap those?
I would swap it just because it's cold, you know what I mean? I've watched Luca like 19 times now.
You have kids the same age as mine.
I don't even know what it is.
It's a cartoon.
You're not missing much.
The Jungle Cruise, I think you'll get more kids, more high school kids, more stuff like that that'll want to show up. So
See, and I feel like last year too, they did so many little kids. That's why this year I'm like, we need to do
yeah.
high school and middle
Well,
school.
you do the 10 Rings, you do Corella. My kids watch Corella. They thought it was awesome.
I only recognized 3 on the list.
The Addams Family, that'll be a good one.
That'll be our last one. And then
Yep.
you guys got to come see Dog. It looks so good. It's about a German Shepherd. It's like a, I don't
And it's got Channing Tatum, right?
It's a war movie.
think so.
So you're like,
Is it?
It's got
Yeah, it's
Channing
about
Tatum in
a,
it.
it's about a military working dog. All right, now I'm good with it.
Motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the contract with Swank Exhibition for movies in the park as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Do you want this? Do you want to go to Christie? What do you?
Sure.
Should be it.
You want me, I'm going right here.
Yeah.
All right, with that being said, we are